In 1991, I was at a place in Lake Elsinore called Lakeland Victory Ranch. I had gone there, I was strung out. I was a drug addict, and a pastor named Rich Alvarez took me into this place. And he used to load us all up in a bus, and he would take us to Anaheim Set Free. And we'd go down there, and we'd hang out with our Christian brothers and sisters and stuff. And myself, I was a Harley mechanic at the time, and so some of the brothers from Set Free obviously were gravitated towards me. And I met Mexican Don and Pastor Tree from Set Free started really hanging around in my shop a lot, and they were big influences on me. They were just regular sinners like myself that were on fire for Jesus, which was very new to me. I had been around some Christians that were way over the top, and I never saw myself there. And really, when I met Don and I met Tree, I finally realized that I could serve Jesus, and we became the best of friends. And I spent many years with both of them. Tree's deceased now; he's with the Lord. Don is my big brother. I still hang out with him a lot, and man, these men loved me no matter what, and I did end up going back out into the world for several years, for about 10 years, went out there and bumped my head, and I ended up strung out again, ended up, worse than I had ever been. But Jesus, he had a hold of me, he followed me wherever I went. And I finally, about 9 years ago, I ended up being led on my own personal exodus out into the mountains of Mariposa, and I ended up having a new encounter with Christ. God got a hold of me up there, and I started serving Jesus again. Only this time it was different. I was broken. I think when I was a young man, I never got all the way broke. So I ended up in Mariposa, a broken man, and with a wife that just loved me and prayed for me daily. And man, I ended up preaching the gospel in the park up there, and I ended up preaching at a thing they call the Butterfly Festival up there, which is a big thing where the whole town gets together. And there was a man from Christian radio there that broadcast this sermon live. And when I finished, he walked over and asked me, who are you and where are you from? And I told him, man, I'm Pastor Kenny from Mariposa Set Free. And so then I ended up having to come down here and let these guys know that I was preaching up here. And all of my brothers and sisters, man, I was like a prodigal son that came back. There was no terms, there was no conditions, there was just me being welcomed back into the family. And I've been preaching and serving Jesus up there ever since, and it just, this is a really good ministry, man, and Jesus is just doing a work still through Set Free, man, through just a bunch of broken sinners.